Hello and welcome to the end of Season 2 of our Race of Champions. So, we've had lots of good feedback. Thank you so much for all the likes and the comments on the previous videos. There was a couple of bits that you guys wanted me to check out. I did, if you don't know how the editor works, basically when I swap a team for one of the Vanarama conference, one of the Vanarama League teams, they basically get totally swapped. So that Vanarama team is then in the Premiership, or in the Bundesliga, or La Liga, and I've checked a lot of the teams and they all got relegated. I think the two teams that we put in Spain finished on 3 and 5 points respectively. Yeah, so they didn't do too well. But I haven't looked today. First off, we're going to look at the Vanarama, because we know that 2 teams got promoted, so we'll check them out afterwards. Right, come on Liverpool, come on Liverpool. It's not going to be Liverpool, is it? It's not going to be Liverpool. Bollocks! Right, I'm impartial. Oh, well, that's good for Chelsea. Well done, Chelsea. Chelsea have been promoted in Season 2. Barcelona won the playoffs. Oh, Liverpool in the playoffs again. As Arsenal in the playoffs. Bayern Munich, Juventus 6, Man United 7th. They're not having a good time with it, Man United. Paris Saint-Germain, who the fuck, I can't remember. Let me check, hang on one moment. Let me just check my, who was the favourite you guys suggested? Barcelona. So they're a season behind, but they've done pretty well. And then Bayern Munich, who seem to be struggling. So let's look at the playoffs. Right, so Arsenal knocked out Bayern Munich with a 2-0 win away from home. Very good victory. And then Barcelona beat Liverpool 4-1 over the 2 legs. And then the final, as we saw, if I click the right button, was Barcelona's 2-1 win over Arsenal. Mascherano and Lionel Messi. Not a bad little team for Vanarama. Right, so shall we check? Because this is where we need to see if these other teams are going to pull away. The Man Cities are going to pull away. So, League 2. Oh, I imagine, because they've got no big teams playing, they should have walked to this league almost undefeated. There we go. Yes. 1 defeat between the 2 of them. Manchester City have been promoted as champions. Real Madrid in 2nd place. 1 point behind. Look at their goal differences. And Colchester went up as well, and Portsmouth, just in case you do want to, if you wanted to know. Right, one thing one of you guys asked was to sort of see who was managing, see if many of the managers got removed. So Guardiola is currently manager of Manchester City. Real Madrid, Zidane still, obviously back-to-back promotions. It's going to be hard to get rid of those guys. I think the bigger issue is not so much them sacking them, but them keeping hold of them. You know, other big teams around the world are suddenly going to go, come on, do you want to join us? We're not in League 2. So let's have a look at Chelsea. No, Nigel Pearson is the manager of Chelsea. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed that much. Sorry, Chelsea fans, but fucking hell, that's hilarious. Oh, that's amazing. Nigel Pearson. Arsenal manager. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He seems to become a good manager, because in my Bolton save, he's current England manager. So maybe that's not the worst pickup in the world. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, the smiling assassin. Right, Barcelona, Luis Enrique. Liverpool. Oh, for fuck's sake! You got rid of Wes Klopp. I'll have to find out where Klopp. We've got Gary Monk. Gary fucking Monk. No, I'm not a happy bunny, people. I'm not a happy bunny. Bayern Munich, Carlo Ancelotti, Juventus, Massimiliano Allegri, some Italian dude. Manchester United. Oh, it's jobless. Where do I see who got sacked as manager? I'm having a break. I never look at this thing. Where's the... Oh, so Van Gaal stayed there until this year. It shows how shit Van Gaal is, the fact he couldn't even get promoted out of the Vanarama. That's brilliant. You know, some tricky teams around him, to be fair. So they're looking for a new manager. I wonder what GM they're going to get. Paris Saint-Germain, Laurent Blanc's still there, which is pretty good because they're not doing too well. None of the big teams... I'm waiting for one of the big teams to get beaten by Forest Green or Dagenham and Redbridge. I think that'd be hilarious. Right, let's look at signings. So we'll look at the two League Two teams first to see if they've made any big signings, or indeed, I think the big thing is to see if they've kept hold of their team. So Manchester City, so basically they've sold, and I'll look in the right year, probably that would be helpful. Okay, interesting. So let's look at the out. Zabaleta, 11 million. That's not too bad. He's getting a bit old now. A bunch of youngsters. Zuccalini's a good central midfielder. He went for 3.3. A few more youngsters. Mangala went for 5 million to Liverpool, interestingly. I'll take that. The ins are very interesting. Sergio Roberto, 21.5 million from Barcelona, which kind of makes sense. Remember, they're a division above now, so it makes a little bit more sense. But Eric Lamela on loan. Interesting. I wonder, is he still... Oh, he's gone back. I was going to see his contract. Eric Lamela. That's quite interesting. Right, Real Madrid. Let's have a look at their transfer history. So, Valverde from Penarol, yeah, 3.6, and they bought Douglas Costa. So, what we're seeing is that they're poaching the players from the teams in the division below, which makes sense because they've got a bit more pulse. Like, come on, we're League Two. So, yeah, I can imagine that a little bit easier. Next up, we got the outs. We got Danilo, 8.5 million. And Valero went on loan to Liverpool twice, because why not? So they're still spending. They've still got the money. I think as time goes by, that will get interesting to see if they can keep doing that. Right, Chelsea. So they bought one player from Barcelona, Montoya. I don't know this kid. Looks decent. 26 years old. Solid choice. Loic Remy went to QPR for 6.7. Kennedy went for 7 minutes. And they've sold a lot. This one's interesting. Chelsea have sold a lot. A lot of sort of fringy players. Not too many of the big names, but still. Callas, Kane, lots. John Obi Mikel. Wow. Who paid... Watford paid 6.5 million for that waste of space. Nathan Ake, who they got at 6 million. Lots of little ones there. Victor Moses, 4.4. Yeah, look, Asmir Begovic. Lots of... I think that makes total sense, is to raise money, keep the bank account looking good by just selling off all your fringy players. Hector, 1.2. Yeah, lots of youngsters as well. So they've made 45 million, which has probably helped pay for their wages for the season. But they've been promoted, so they've still done the job. So Chelsea with Nigel Pearson in charge. That's the funniest thing ever. Right, let's look at Arsenal. So they have bought nobody, and they've sold almost £30 million of players. Adelaide went for 3. He's a very good youngster, 3.4. Carl Jenkinson, 2.8. Again, fringe players mostly. Mertesacker went for 10 million to Napoli. That's an interesting one. Paulista. So they've sold a couple of centre backs here. Interestingly, lots of fringe players. Mohamed El Neni went for 3.6 million. Interesting that they sold him. I probably would have given him some more game time. But they raised 30 million. So it looks like if you don't get promoted so far, if you don't get promoted first season, then you have to sell. The other two teams seem to be well on their way now. Again, here we go. Barcelona. We know they made some big sales to the other teams. But so Roberto for 21. A bunch of sort of Munir for 9.5. Rafinha to Watford for 12. Tello to Stoke for 4.9 and Montoya to Chelsea for 8. So £56 million Barcelona have raised. That is pretty interesting. So I wonder if this is the same theme for all of it. Come on, Liverpool. Make some good signings. Okay, so again, selling club. That's what they become. If you don't get promoted first season, you've got to start selling. Joel Matip, who we know comes on a free anyway, that's already in the game. Valero we got on loan. Oh my God, Jack Cole back on loan. Mangala we got from Man City, which is like, he's a good player for old league for Panorama. And so let's see, we sold Dejan Lovren, £9 million. Christian Benteke for 10. Well, that's about like real life's going to happen. Bunch of the youngsters that didn't really make it. Interesting. Origin went to Bournemouth for 7 million. Interesting, they sold him. Oh, Shea Ojo. I love Shea Ojo. Man, what are you selling him for? 1.5 million. Not worth it. Andre Wisdom, 2.3. John Flanagan, 1.8. That's an interesting sale. And then a bunch of youngsters. Interesting. Let's look at Bayern. Are they going to continue this theme of just becoming a selling club? Wow, they are. Arjen Robben went to Tottenham for 18.75 million. Xabi Alonso went to Atletico Madrid for 3.4. Kimmich went to AC Milan for 12. Rafinha 4.6. The big one was obviously Douglas Costa to the league above, 33.5 million. So they've just sold, no players in, lots of money though, 81 million pounds. It's not a bad little chunk of cash. Juventus. We're going to have a look at Juventus. So again, selling club. Wow, even more so. Zaza to Simone Zaza to Southampton for 13 million. A bunch of probably youngsters and older players that they got released. There must be a couple of big sales in here. Lots of little chunky ones. Here we go. Morata to Atletico Madrid, 32. There's the big one. 9 million for Caceres. Lichtsteiner, 5 million. They have just had a proper clean out. As you can pause it and have a look at more. Dybala to Dortmund for 50 million pounds. Like, that is some serious... Is he really a 50 million? I know he's good, but yeah, I suppose he's quite good. That's interesting. Oh, are they getting somebody in? Oh, they're actually signing somebody. Oh, he looks good. And then we're going to look at Manchester United. Let's see how Manchester United did. Again, selling. Not too much, so they kept most of their team. Marcus Rashford to Burnley for 1.5. I know in the game he's not quite as good as people are seeing in real life, but he's still very good. Youngster, I can't believe they'd sell him for that. That is ridiculous. James Wilson, another good young striker, 6.5 million. Then a bunch of sort of randoms and anybody else. Nope, that's it. So they've done the best in not selling too many players, Manchester United. Let's look at Paris Saint-Germain. Oh, even better. So they basically kept hold of their time. Zlatan went on a free and he signed... Zlatan Ibrahimovic is now playing for Everton. That, I suppose it could happen. They got money now, haven't they? Then a bunch of sort of youth players and oldie players, and then just a couple of sales. Areola, the old nipple, has gone to West Brom for 2.8, and then a bunch of sort of nothings. So what we've learned from this is that if you got promoted the first season, I guess that the board of directors, even though you're probably losing money, the board of directors can see that you're going in the right direction, you know, back-to-back promotions, all good, spend some money, or at least sort of keep an even keel, as opposed to the teams in the Vanarama. They're like, no, you've got to sell, you can't buy anybody, you know, their wage budget's going to get cut, which is one of the big things. So it's going to be very interesting to see this third season. I think we could see the teams that didn't get promoted, Arsenal, Liverpool, Bayern, Juventus and Man United and Paris Saint-Germain, I think are going to have a bit of a cull. Just to lower the wages, if nothing else, even if you're not selling those big names. I think we might see a few contracts run out that they just can't afford to re-sign players. But yeah, some interesting management appointments, that's for sure. I was laughing at fucking Nigel Pearson, and then it turns out Liverpool have got Gary Monk. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's a very close season. There was only 14 points that separated the top 8, so that's not too bad. But those of you who said Barcelona, and there's quite a lot of you, and a couple of people that said Chelsea, well done. You're one season behind, but you're well on your way, and the big guns like Bayern and Man United and stuff are struggling to get promoted. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Stay tuned for episode 4, which will be in a couple of days. As always, cheer on your team. Let me know what you think of the managerial appointments. I think it's amazing. Nigel Pearson from Man United, please don't let that happen one day. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new to the place, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.